Welcome to the 141st episode of News Dump, where we run through the hottest topics in the Lewis County news scene and discuss. I'm local man Aaron VanTuyl, joined tonight only by Chronicle editor-in-chief Eric Schwartz, as well as, of course, our sponsors who are joining us in spirit, Summit Funding and The Roof Doctor. It's Tuesday, May 2nd, and Eric Schwartz, congrats on announcing your candidacy for governor.
Oh, did I do that?
I heard rumblings and expected it to come out. The official declaration isn't out, but, I feel that you've got as good of a chance as anyone.
Oh, man, it's going to be Bob Ferguson, Hillary Franz.
And well, who
else is going to be in there?
You have an insider guest. Do you want to throw that out there?
Oh, I'm hoping, and it's not politically based, of course, but just I think it would be interesting. J.T. Wilcox.
The Eggman himself?
You just found out that he was affiliated with Wilcox Farm less than 24 hours ago, and you already called him the Eggman?
Hey, man, the Eggman. He's got it going on.
Gotta get a buddy legislator called the Walrus.
Yeah. Wilcox, I don't know. He'd be interesting. He seems like a rational dude.
Sounds like something a stupid person would say, and maybe I'm exposing myself, but I really like the way JT talks.
Yeah,
I like the way he addresses the media. Mm-hmm. He can get philosophical. He can take a dive into some history. We had a Zoom call with him and John Braun on the Senate side last week to talk about the session, which is coming back. It's already coming back. Special session's going to happen.
Yeah, I heard that. Talk
about the Blake thing. But yeah, I just enjoyed talking to him. I thought it'd be interesting to see him debate whoever ends up being on the other side. It's going to be an interesting race. I'm surprised Inslee didn't go for 4.
Yeah, it's cool that we're getting a new governor. I think the front runners, it sounds like, on the Democratic side are, of course, like you mentioned, Bobby Ferg and Hillary Franz. Ferg officially declared as Franz doffed the cap.
Officially declare? I saw he said an exploratory committee, which would help raise money and get his message out, and he's going to visit around the state. But I guess that's as much as running as officially declaring it. Last I saw, I should have checked, but Franz posted today on Twitter, prepare for a big announcement or something soon. She was hyping it up.
It's forest fire season, so maybe it's something to do with that.
Yeah, it could be. It's
also Volcano Awareness Month, so maybe,
Volcano Awareness Month. I wonder why they picked this month.
I don't know. Weird.
Weird timing. Volcano season.
Yeah. You want to get into some news items?
Sure.
First up, reenactors hold Revolutionary War era Living History encampment in Chehalis.
Oh, I love these.
This is the Spirit of 76 Living History Association. They held their Revolutionary War era encampment at the Veterans Memorial Museum in Chehalis. And I think that if you have ever screamed 1776 at any politician or opposing political activist, you must spend at least 3 nights camping out with the history buffs and wearing itchy wool clothing and pooping in a ditch on the hottest weekend in April. Your thoughts?
I don't think that this association was that realistic in that they were pooping in the ditch over at the museum. But it looked fun. I don't know. Civil War reenactments hitting a little too close to the nerve these days. So I think we're going back to the Revolutionary War, and it was not a full-on reenactment. It didn't look like it was, I don't know. When they did it out on Toon Road, like the Civil War reenactments, it looked real because you didn't have any structures or anything. And this one's got a train car in the background, like a modern train car.
Were there trains back then? Not in the Revolutionary War, probably. A few years later.
Yeah, not that type of train anyways. Also a freeway, it appears. But I'm fairly confident we didn't have the interstate system when we took on the Brits, but I could be wrong.
We just had a lot of 4-wheel drive cars, yeah.
But I don't know. I can't think of an occasion where a cannon is fired in Lewis County where it wouldn't be newsworthy.
Yeah, that's true. Next item, Tenino Agricultural Park.
Hold on. Before you go to that one, did you see the other event at the Veterans Memorial Museum?
Oh, what else do they have going on?
RC tanks. They have RC tank battles with sensors on them, so you fight. It sounded cool.
It kind of sounded like that Robot Wars thing they used to have.
Yeah, that still happens,
TV
right?
Or something.
I think that was on Joe TV. I think you're right. Yeah, no, but it was cool. There's a lot going on at the Veterans Museum. There's a car show as well.
Oh, cool.
Things stay popping over there.
Yeah. Was there an official car show down here on Saturday night, or was that just...
I am not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
There was cars out on Saturday night. I don't know if you were aware.
Were
you in here alone drinking all the podcast whiskey?
I would never.
Next item, Tenino Agricultural Park construction underway. $1.25 million provided by the state. This is a story from Isabel about how Tenino couldn't get its large-scale livestock slaughtering done during the pandemic and how it led to the ag park. When this thing's done, the Ag Business Park will have an event center for educational opportunities, an office for the Economic Development Council, a hot sauce business, a slaughterhouse, a food processing kitchen space for startup businesses, and more. They got $1.25 million from the legislature for phase 2 work, and Marie Gluesenkamp Perez has also requested $4.4 million from the feds for the ag park. Tenino Mayor Wayne Fournier says people are too far removed from the process that keep them alive. He's also a Thurston County Commission candidate.
Yes.
Agriculture is just something that is distant and misunderstood by most people out there, especially folks in Seattle.
Oh, the dig.
But if they can get here and they can be immersed in it, they'll understand it and support it better. Which is like, I like to imagine Wayne just dragging some Seattleites off the freeway and taking them to the slaughterhouse. Like, butcher this cow with me.
Just like holding their eyes open, like wide open. Watch it.
Get him in the jugular, brother.
Commie.
Yeah, Wayne's just doing a little politics with that statement. I don't hate it. I also like the idea of an ag park, but back in my day, we just called them farms.
Yeah. Well, this is more of a park. It's more fun, festive.
You could just go to a farm. You're like, a day's work for a day's food.
There should be like an entrance fee if you want to come in and watch the cow you're going to eat get offed.
Or you could like get free, like you go and you just work in the slaughterhouse for an hour and then they feed you.
Yeah, like you slaughter it right next to like a grill. So, like, you can just carve off a piece while you're waiting, fry it up on the grill, cook it up.
That's how cows work. You just
carve it off.
Carve off a leg and take it over to the grill.
A knife in there and you cut off a chunk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the Tenino Ag Park.
The $1.25 million, I should add, was a appropriation in the capital budget this year, and State Rep Peter Abarno is largely responsible for bringing that bacon to the slaughterhouse.
All right. That was nice of him.
I called it bacon instead of pork, but pork would have also worked.
I see. Very, very smart.
Yeah.
Was that you or was that Peter's?
Very clever.
Yeah, very clever. Next item. Centralia School Board processes disappointment over levy failure. As of Wednesday, this is last Wednesday, the district's replacement levy proposal was failing 50.74% to 49.26%. By about 80 votes, I think, 79 votes. Mm-hmm. On the April 25 special election ballot, the next count will be out Thursday. This was their last chance to pass one this year before the current levy expires at the end of December. The district last operated without levy dollars between December 2020 and the 2022 levy collection cycle, which led to layoffs last summer. And that time they went through multiple attempts to pass a replacement levy as well. I don't know. It's bad. Not good.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, yeah. From the majority of people who chose to vote, no. We had a couple. If people are interested, I hear a lot of people online like, "Why would you vote against this?" And I, just to be clear, I support the levy. But there's a couple letters to the editor you could read that at least I think are valuable in giving a little insight to why people voted no, and I think the biggest reason was just money. People are strapped. One guy said he had done the calculations and he'd be paying $800 or $900 more, and as a disabled veteran on a fixed income, he just couldn't support that. He didn't know where the money would come from.
I read that letter, and he was also upset about the wokeness of the school.
Yeah, I think there was 3 of those letters in there. There was one letter that just, I couldn't really get the point the individual was making, but he was like, at the end, he was like, they don't all need to be Einsteins. So it was basically like, so what if they're not that smart? We need not smart people too.
The thing I keep thinking about it is like, you're telling any kids in the school now, like, if they're high achievers, if they're the kind of kids you want to go off to college and come back and be prominent local business people or prominent local leaders, you're basically telling them like, get the hell out of here. And they're not going to come back.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it unfolds. I believe there's a meeting tomorrow with the district where they're going to start talking about the cuts. I think you should, even if you oppose the levy, you should at least give the district some credit. I've seen other levies where they come out with the scare tactics, if you want to call them that, but basically saying, here's worst case scenario. If you don't vote yes, you're going to lose all of this. And they were very careful not to do that. They laid out the numbers, I thought, pretty clearly.
Yeah.
But I do think there's going to be that kind of impact. I guess we'll see. I feel like a little last time we went through this, we had to have the pain in order to get enough people to vote, to get the levy passed, which is unfortunate for the kids. not just in athletics, but, all manner of extracurriculars. So I don't know. Don't know how it's going to end up. I know it wasn't pretty last time, and I don't think Centralia needed this right now, obviously.
No. Next item, Winlock Internet expansion enters engineering phase. So last week, Toledo Tel's Dale Merton updated the county commissioners on the public-private partnership to expand high-speed internet service in the Winlock area. This is a nice bit of socialism Winlock's benefiting from.
I believe you mispronounced public-private partnership.
And awful bold to call it a public-private partnership when it's $23.5 million from the Washington State Broadband Office and $2 million from Toledo Tel, which is like when we go to the bar and I'm like, hey man, I've only got $2. Like, can you cover me? And then you're like, sure. And I'm like, a partnership on the tab. It is not.
I think it's great, though. It's wonderful. You got to have that development down there in Winlock. They're exploding in population size. And if the money's there with the state, which you are testament to the fact that it is, I don't think $23.5 million is a bad investment at all. And, commiserate to the size of the business, $2.3 million is a lot of money for Toledo Tel to put on the table. I think it's different than a $2 down on a bar tab, which I'm taking as an offer for after this podcast.
Deal. It is good that they're expanding broadband and whatnot, and it is a cool partnership, but 23 million versus 2 million.
It takes all kinds of contributions there.
You
can get in on this action if you run down to Toledo Tel and give them a couple bucks. Just be like, put me in.
Put my name on the bill too.
I want to be a player.
Next item. This one's interesting, a little dicey. Centralia Police Department's new flock cameras assist in catching burglary suspects. And the crime isn't all that interesting. There were some people that did some burgling and they used these new cameras to catch them. The cameras are basically set up around town and read license plates of cars that go by on the streets. Centralia is in the middle of a 2-month trial period using the cameras. If they decide to keep them after the free 2-month trial period ends, the cost will be $2,500 per camera with the software included. Which this is kind of like a buying a new mattress sales tactic or something. Like pay nothing for the first 90 days, and if you don't like, give it back.
I think it's a trial run, and I think it fits with at least how I have perceived the Centralia Police Department's approach to police reform, which is to grab for any tool that they can find, and they're adopting new practices. The stop sticks, when they think somebody might run, they preemptively toss them under a wheel.
I do like those.
It's a nice move. They're not going to get very far. So I think it's obvious. It's an obvious statement, but it's nice to try it out, see if it works. And there's already been a few arrests. This news item, by the way, was we reported on the actual case. It was bail set at $750,000 for suspects in a string of Centralia, Thurston County burglaries. So these were prolific burglars that were hitting again and again and again. And
wet bandits, if you will.
Yeah, sure. They at one point used a gun, but they were targeting ATMs basically. So it was a fairly sizable crime. And the company actually reached out afterwards as a sales tactic. I'm sure it's follow up with local medias and was just like, hey, can you write about this? And there was a little new information, so we decided to go ahead and brief it up. But
there's been a lot of discourse in the comments section, as you can imagine, about what kind of constitutional amendments this violates and how it's an invasion of our privacy. People are, of course, making these comments off their personal cellular devices, which are tracking their every move as it is. And they do only video record. I don't want to say videotape because they're not reloading tapes or anything. It's not 1985.
Yeah, we're old.
But they are just catching footage of streets, right? And license plates.
I think so, more or less. I'm not an expert in this by any means.
I think if we keep them and they are used by the city, a public entity, everyone should have access to the footage online with no redacting or anything else all the time.
Yeah.
Just a live stream. You can watch them whenever you want. Just fire it up there. We pay for it. We should have the same access the city and police do.
I, too, often wonder what's going on South Tower Avenue. So I am up for it. I'm here for it.
I mean,
put them all around,
Yeah, everywhere. We're all Big Brother.
I want eyes on everything.
Can you imagine, the familial arguments this would cause? Where were you? Well, I was at work. Well, according to the flock camera...
I don't know. I think, like I said, I think it's just a new tool that they're trying out. And as I've mentioned before, I appreciate that Denham seems to be taking a proactive approach and not just complaining about it, even though I think there is plenty of reason to complain.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Props to Denham for, trying something, constitutional or not.
How would you feel, though, if it was like on your street? I mean, it doesn't really work for you. If you're
in my backyard, it would be terrible.
It was like pointed like right at your front. Yeah, I guess they.
If I had a camera at all hours to see what is going on at the rental house, to sign me up.
I'm also just waiting until one of like Centralia's finest decides to like do something obscene in front of the camera.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do they have body cams? What's going on with that?
Yeah, they got body cameras.
Yeah, all right.
I think so anyways. They were supposed to get them with ARPA funds, if I recall correctly.
They just keep forgetting to turn them on, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it could be.
Speaking of police, update. Coroner says man found dead in burned vehicle. Neil Randall died of gunshot wounds. This is the latest info on our latest unsolved murder. The remains, Coroner Warren McLeod confirmed Wednesday, are from a male. At this time, he said the office has, quote, no information on who the person may be to compare dental x-rays to. And it kind of sounds like they're just going through and comparing it to various missing persons a little bit.
Not even a little bit. That's what they're doing, Warren. Yeah. It's like, we got no idea who this could be, no leads, so they're just picking local missing males because they know it's a male and doing comparisons.
So Warren McLeod's just kind of like the prince with the glass slipper looking for...
I mean, if this wasn't a tragic story, I would be willing to entertain such a metaphor.
Does make sense. But yeah, so the unsolved murder count, just
we got a few of them in Lewis County, that's for sure.
We sure do.
We're not unsolved, maybe waiting on lab tests, that kind of thing. This is the biggest unsolved, though, for sure.
Yeah. Next item, 2 Lewis County jail inmates charged after fentanyl found. These 2 inmates found it on the bathroom floor, they said. Apparently the finder of the bathroom floor fentanyl in the jail, what a place to... If you found something on a bathroom floor, not in a jail, would you ingest it?
I wouldn't in practice eat anything I found on a bathroom floor. It's disgusting. I've got a young boy at home, a aim of a stormtrooper.
That's true. Anyway, apparently the finder shared it with someone else, and then the first guy was nodding off in jail, and the other inmates were hitting him in the face to keep him awake, which is kind of a hilarious visual.
I don't find anything hilarious. I think it's super sad. The guy's having an overdose, but I get what was happening. Yeah.
So
really stretching to try to find humor in this one.
How'd it get into jail?
Who knows? They find ways. One orifice or another, I would assume.
We're not making any jokes, are we?
No, that's usually how it is. And it's not a matter of fairness, but it's happened recently at the Thurston County Jail as well. They had multiple people overdose all at the same time. In fact, we had, was it last year, when we had an inmate in Thurston County Jail write us a letter and just be like, hey, someone needs to know there's fentanyl overdoses happening in here. And we asked, and they just straight up were like, oh, yeah, we've had a few of those.
Yeah.
So it was our only jailed source recently.
Okay. And then we got some city council updates as well. Centralia is looking for someone to fill Leah Dayrood's at-large council spot. I believe the deadline was yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you throw in your hat?
I did not. I did not. It was at-large, though, so anyone in Centralia could have jumped in there.
Could have been in there, yeah.
You got 5 seconds. You get to pick anyone in Centralia to take that spot. Who's it going to be?
Oh, God. Anyone?
I'll buy you some time. I'm trotting out of the bullpen, giving the sign to the bullpen. I'm bringing Ron Averill back into service.
Ron Averill?
Bring him back.
He's going to bring Nolan Ryan back into the pit for the Mariners.
Man. You got nothing. Not even like a wild card pick.
I don't have anything that great.
Pete Castor has temporary residency. We can throw him in there.
He's on his way out. He wouldn't finish out his term.
A lot of that going around.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have any great ideas. Nothing's coming to mind.
If you think of it later, we'll get back to it.
Yeah, I'll come back to it. I think it's something cool.
We should have picked a Manchurian candidate, but then every council meeting just have him draped out in a NASCAR car with the roof doctor and Summit funding.
That would have been good.
Just
the
our
roof doctor
podcast recommendation. like in the council review every week is just a 5-minute review of the previous podcast.
Blazer Bill from Centralia College.
That's
the
good.
mascot.
That's good. Not the person.
Not the person.
The mascot. So anyone could don the suit and climb in there.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Just like Jared Leto at the Met Gala in that big cat suit.
That thing.
Also,
I don't know why the conservatives can't take them seriously.
Yeah. Also in Chehalis City Council, Isaac Pope is stepping down. He's been on the council since 1987. It's a long time.
That is a long time.
And also on the Chehalis City Council, Darrell Lund is running for re-election. He's been on there for 20 years.
I have to note that I enjoyed Darrell's traditional personal visit to the newsroom with a press release in an envelope that he handed to me personally to announce his candidacy. There's far too less of that these days. Too many email and digital announcements.
Very old school. It didn't even mail it, just hand delivered. Didn't want it lost in the mail.
Had his endorsements listed in there too.
Oh, nice.
He's ready to go.
Anybody important endorsing him?
Let's see, who did he have? Yeah, he had some big names on there. He had like Richard DeBolt was on there. There's some Grahams on there. I can't remember which Grahams.
Oh, Richard Graham?
It could be. Not sure. A few other names. Can't remember. Yeah. It's at Cronline.
All right. Any other news items we want to hit, or do you want to pick those up in what's in the next edition later?
We should note that filing week is coming up since we're on that topic. So if you're interested in running for office, there's a boatload of city council seats coming up, and you can go to Lewis County Auditor's website and find all the deets.
All right.
We can talk about the rest of the news later. It's fine.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Jasek from Summit Funding. Here's what a recent client is saying about us.
Hi, this is Chad Taylor. Have you been thinking about purchasing or refinancing your current home? The team at Summit Funding is the best in class. Looking for a conventional FHA, VA, USDA, jumbo, or even a reverse mortgage? Trust the team at Summit Funding. Coralie and I did, and we couldn't be happier.
Thank you to all of our past clients. If you have any questions, give us a call at 360-330-4037.
All right, we're back. It's time for some segments. First up, Tales from the Takes page. We've got a letter to the editor titled Port of Centralia Reporting Appalling. This letter poses the question of whether it is equal to write about a real, actually happening conflict of interest charge, but not the Facebook group the letter writer is a part of. Why is that?
You know my policy. When you get a highly critical letter, it goes straight to the front of the line, and we try to get it out. Most of the time, there's been some failings in that regard over the years, but that's what I try to stick to. And I didn't find it, I wasn't hurt by the letter. I thought Owen, who wrote the story, did a good job. He reached out to Peter Lamont for comment. The allegation is pretty light, in my opinion anyways. He runs a program for the state on, and he was potentially talking to businesses to try to get them into that program, if I understood the story correctly, which is, I think, a hard topic to get anyone too excited about. But yeah, he brought up some things, and as we've talked about before, there is a Facebook group of people who are angry with how the Port of Centralia operates. We have written about most of the things he outlined, like that he was comparing to, like where's the reporting on the change orders. We had a story last week on that. The rest of it is just kind of accusations that don't have any merit at this point.
But the Facebook group has 733 members.
A sizable, not to be ignored. They're very proud of that number, I think.
All right.
But yeah, that continues to be a Groundhog Day situation over there to me, where you have the same group of citizens showing up at the meeting every week, and they are critical and about generally the same things. And that's not to undercut their claims or whatever. It's just, it hasn't really changed. So anytime we write about it, there seems to be one side or the other thinking we're taking the other side. And I can assure you it's not the case.
Okay.
You've been assured.
We've also got a letter to the editor, or not a letter, a column from Brian Mitke, his regular column, A Tale of Twin Cities. He talks about Chehalis and how it supports its school, and Centralia doing the opposite with this most recent levy failure. Good column.
Yeah, I thought that was a classic Mitke joint. It's really good. He did acknowledge the difference of, many wealthy benefactors in Chehalis as opposed to Centralia that hasn't seen that kind of investment.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned earlier, I know how you hope to draw that kind of investment when there's not support for the district in the community.
Yeah, exactly. And then one other letter to the editor I appreciated, titled "Columnist's Approach to Aaron Christian Case: A Breath of Fresh Air."
This
columnist writes, "Thank you, Mr. VanTuyl, for a comprehensive piece that hits the nail on the head. This kind of direct approach to issues is a breath of fresh air." What a letter! What a column that must have been.
Yeah, no, it was a good column. Got lots of praise for your take on the Aaron Christensen investigation and the many missteps and how somebody needs to pull their finger out, as you put it.
You could
so eloquently.
You could TLDR the entire column with, "Why doesn't one of you fucking do something?"
Yeah, you had to drop your F-bomb, didn't you?
I get one
Maintain our
episode.
PG-13 rating.
Absolutely. Do you want to go to Siren's Banger of the Week, or do you have any other column stuff?
No, we had lots of letters yesterday. The way they came in is if you're a conservative individual, you're not going to like many of the letters in that edition. Usually it's a bit more balanced, but that was the letters that I've got. I've got more lined up for Saturday. And then there's one I wanted to call attention to. Julie McDonald, I also thought wrote a good column. Irresponsible gun owners should be prosecuted, especially when someone dies. And I think a lot of people share her take. She obviously got to the Aaron Christensen situation in the column. And she wrote, Prosecutor Jonathan Meyer recently announced his office won't file charges of manslaughter and animal cruelty against Asbach, even though his reckless firing of a gun took a life. The prosecutor blames a sloppy investigation by the sheriff's office and contamination by the coroner's office. But her take was accidents happen and perhaps a jury would acquit Asbach of any wrongdoing in Christensen's death, but the case should be placed before a jury to decide. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand in that case, is why that's not happening. Like, let the justice system play out. If it's not going to work, it's not going to work. But
yeah,
let a jury have a look at things. That's it. There's lots of letters, though. It was a whole bunch of letters, two pages of letters.
All right, Siren's Banger of the Week. This one was interesting. Just after 11 on April 28th, that was Friday, a caller in the 300 block of Southwest Chehalis Avenue reported, quote, his neighbor just egged his house. Egg him back, man.
Bold. Man, a neighbor egging. That's got to be rare.
Think the police are going to come do something? Just egg him back. Escalate things.
I've been the victim of an egging in Centralia.
Yeah, so have I.
Doesn't feel good.
And then on Friday afternoon, officers received a report of a flag shop selling political items on the corner of Louisiana Avenue next to Walmart without a permit. Officers contacted the owner, who said he was, quote, unaware of the need for a permit and would, quote, look into it on Monday. The owner reportedly offered officers free pro-police items, which were politely refused. Wink, wink. I could have sworn I saw them still selling shit over the weekend, but maybe that was Friday I'm thinking of. And it was the usual, like, a picture of a gun that says "Go Trump" or whatever, and like,
yeah, sign business is big business. Down in Battleground at the Reflector, when I travel down there, I'll usually spot, and it'll be like two corners at a major intersection, just slinging those flags. But how sick would it have been if you drove through Chehalis on Saturday and all the Chehalis police cars had giant "Back the Blue" flags affixed to the back? Politely decline.
There's nothing to see here, folks.
Oh,
it's
man.
just a businessman doing business.
Flags are wild. Like there's a guy in our neighborhood that has and I'm not criticizing the message, but it's like, I don't even know what the message is. It's got like a blue line, a red line, like an orange line, like a yellow line.
Oh, it's a pride flag.
No, it's not a pride flag. I did just describe that, though. And there is one of those as well. No, it's an American flag, though.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he's just...
Sometimes I drive real slow when I go by because I'm trying to see if there's
the lines.
Words on it or something.
Is there a gray line that support journalism?
No. I mean, you're not supposed to do that to a flag.
No, you're not.
It's against flag code.
Yeah.
No one respects flag code anymore.
No, they don't. I don't have a People's Champion of the Week. Do you have one?
Oh, I have a People's Champion of the Week. Let me just open it up here. I'll read the headline for you. Open house plan for Chronicle columnist Bill Moeller's 95th birthday. If you know Bill Moeller or you're a fan of his column and just want to tell him you're a fan of his column, I know it would mean the world to him. You're going to want to stop by at noon Saturday at the Ford's Prairie Grange. It's at 2640 Reynolds Avenue. Not West Reynolds Avenue, even though it is where people refer to as West Reynolds Avenue. I don't want to upset that letter writer. Yes. Anyways, guests are advised not to bring gifts, but you should go. You should show him. I know he'll be super excited to see anyone there.
All right. Bill Moeller's party is People's Champion of the Week. He is 95 almost.
Last commissioned mayor of the city of Centralia. He's a war veteran, I believe, of the Korean War. Lots of interesting stuff about that guy. He was ordained minister, so he had hundreds of marriages that he oversaw. Mm-hmm. Really cool guy.
All right.
Remember he dressed up as Mark Twain?
Yeah, he was a Mark Twain impersonator, bookstore owner.
Yeah. Entertainer.
Mm-hmm. Facebook comments of the week. I've only got a few.
Oh, no.
On a history photo of a guy holding up some fish, this commenter says, today he'd be arrested. You can't keep sturgeon. And then somebody replies, yes, you can. The season is limited, but it's legal to fish for them. And then he posts a link to the fishing season site. And I always love when somebody makes just a wildly incorrect claim in the comment section and somebody else is like, nope. It just warms my heart that there's, people out there fighting the good fight in the comment section. On a history photo of some girls camping at Spirit Lake, this commenter says, I was told Spirit Lake was always frozen deep down. If you swam too deep or capsized, you get stuck in the ice along with all the other unfortunate souls throughout the eons. Which is just like...
I think that's an incorrect take. It could be a different Spirit Lake. There are other Spirit Lakes.
There's no Spirit Lake that is frozen at the bottom.
You can't say that unequivocally.
Have you ever seen an iceberg?
You don't know. You don't know that.
And then another comment, and no cell phones to look at, just enjoying the outdoors. Buddy, you're commenting on Facebook right now.
Just fine. You can do both. Maybe he was in the outdoors.
Anyway. And then on Julia McDonald's column about gun owners being held accountable for their irresponsibilities, we've just got two titans in the comments section engaged in true gladiatorial combat here in the marketplace of ideas. First one, they've been going for a while, and one of them says, do I think he killed him on purpose and should be locked up? Of course, but you have to be able to prove it in court. And also, this is only one of 4 botched investigations by LCSO. The people should start at the top and recall these officials. And then his opponent replies, last I checked, a confession is pretty good. Meyer, your buddy? The other guy says, not if it was given before his Miranda rights were read to him. That's a real easy win for a defense attorney. Snazza, your buddy? And then they come back, that's the beauty of a jury. They can decide things Meyer can't. You back Soros' DAs?
Oh, you're right. The real battle of the Titans.
Just... What an exchange.
My favorite type of comment exchanges is when one person's trying to be earnest and the other one's just bashing them, but they don't give in and they just continue to be extremely earnest. And
they're just like, those. Answer the question.
Yeah.
You have an answer to the question? Why aren't you answering the question? And then on the flock cameras in Centralia, this commenter says, it should be called fuck safety to the 4th Amendment instead. Hello, 1984, LOL. Not like, are they being earnest or...
I don't know. I think they don't like the idea of the camera.
I guess not. What's in the next edition?
Actually, before we do that, let's just roll down some additional other headlines. I won't dive into anything, but I just wanted to kind of see what's going on. We got Autumn Kanda inducted into Centralia College Hall of Fame.
Formerly Autumn Durand of Onalaska. She was an All-American at Southern Oregon University on the basketball court.
Third leading scorer of all time, I think.
Played for 4 years there and then came home and was like, you know what, maybe I was pretty good at volleyball in high school. Should I try that out? And she went to CC and was like an all-NWAC volleyball player. Pretty good softball player, too, actually, in high school.
Hero of the Week nominee nod.
She'll get the Sports Hero of the Week.
There we go. Winning lotto ticket for $8.6 million was sold in Rochester, according to the Olympian.
Oh.
You buy any tickets out there, Rochester?
I did not.
Let's see what else we got here. Coming up, I liked this story from Isabel, Dreams of Bipartisanship Dashed. House Minority Leader J.T. Wilcox steps down. We touched on the interview we did the other day, but he was very, very frank in the interview. We asked him, what the decision was as far as stepping down as House Minority Leader. And he just said, I'm done with this bullshit. You have a certain amount of capacity for watching people lie and avoid responsibility. I was heartsick, which I thought was a strong quote. We got a call from a communications guy up at the House today. Isabel did, I should say. And we thought it was going to be all about this BS quote. Like, why'd you throw that in there? And he just wanted to clarify his role at Wilcox Farms. So He was fine with the quote. He had no problem.
Head egg hatcher.
Yes. There's a brief item on Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez's first 100 days, which is timely. She's going to be at Centralia College tomorrow for a town hall, a true in-person town hall.
Well, that's nice. We haven't had one of those in a while, have we?
It's been a long time. I think it's her fourth one, too. There's been some complaints from people about how they're carried out as far as who gets to ask questions, but I think it's a win that it's happening. If you're interested in that, 6 o'clock Wednesday, TransAlta Commons at Centralia College. We can just cut it off there. There's lots of other good stuff, but coming in the next edition, we'll have a little more, we'll have some more news on the Aaron Christensen front story Isabel's working on. And what else are we going to have? Mounted Riders had an event out in Tenino over the weekend. Jared went and took photos. It's pretty cool. They ride horses and ride around and shoot their guns at balloons, I believe. I'll have to take a look, but it looked like a lot of fun.
Is that what they're calling the Democrats these days?
Yeah. We'll have a write-up on a fraud investigation focusing on a former employee of the city of Tenino.
Interesting.
That's in the bag. It should be a good one. And a preview on Tuck Everlasting, which I know is very near and dear to your heart.
A big Tuck guy, yeah.
Yeah, should be a good one. That's over at the Evergreen Playhouse.
Do you want to talk about anything else?
You're making a raise the roof gesture. Oh, yes, Roof Doctor. Have we talked about the Roof Doctor today?
We have briefly mentioned our favorite family-owned roofing company since 1959, providing roofing, roof repair, roof cleaning, and emergency roofing. But did you know it's that time of year when your roof starts to leak? They've been roofing the Northwest since 1959. Call them now.
It's almost like you're reading their copy.
To get a Roof Doctor roofing specialist out to your house today, the Roof Doctor makes house calls.
Let's just take a look, see if we got any new ratings here. Yeah, it's been a while. We haven't had a new one since March 20th. We were getting them pretty constant since then. We still have John D's, though, so I'll go ahead and read that from January 23rd. The Roof Doctor is the very best roofing company in the United States of America. This forum should allow for more stars. I give the good doctor 10 stars. They also sponsor a top 20 Lewis County podcast through the Chronicle. Hosts Isabel and Eric are awesome. Aaron is always there. Anyways, Roof Doctor, best there is.
Yeah, John D. What a phenomenal review.
Got to revisit that one every once in a
while. You can visit theroofdoctor.com to learn more, or if you're in the Twin Cities, give them a call, 360-736-0246, I believe is their local number.
I believe you are correct.
In closing, we're sponsored by the Roof Doctor and also, of course, Summit Funding. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcast if you want, or what if somebody wants to send us an email? What do they...
Yeah, you just send it to news@cronline.com. I should get a news dump email, though. Have like a mailbag feature. That'd be cool.
Yeah, somebody could send us questions and we could discuss or whatever. Anyway, yeah.
Frankie Baby's back next week. I've been told.
Okay, well, we're going to hold him to it. We will talk to you next week.